Chapter 1160, The God Valley Incident. Yamato visits Odin's shrine on the cover page. It's revealed that the Davy family are buccaneers. Blackbeard's mother appears for the first time with him. She is messy. Ooh, we called it. Now, before I go any further, I was wrong about a lot of things in the previous chapter. I should probably read the chapters more carefully and probably get better, panels to look at. Anyway, we'll get into what I was wrong about, and I'm sorry about that. But let's just say we'll call it even because we got the Blackbeard's a Buccaneer thing. I think this goes back at least 2 years that we started talking about this, right? And I promise I did not get this theory or idea from somebody else. It just came out of the Zhoniin vacuum by me just looking at Kuma and looking at Blackbeard and oh, they look like they come from the same tribe or something or the same race, right? Because it was revealed that Kuma was a Buccaneer at that time, and I was like, well, Blackbeard could be a Buccaneer too based on that. Turns out he is! That's pretty cool. And then, of course, I'm not the only person who ever thought that, but I do remember getting a lot of kickback at the time for, saying that stuff. So, cool. Anyway, what does this mean in the grander scale of things? Well, it goes into our other theory that is attached to this. Joy Boy was probably a Buccaneer too. Now, not confirmed, of course, but I always thought that would be such a cool, storyline or just way to add tension or more tension between Luffy and Blackbeard, because once they eventually start talking about the D lineage stuff and how they're both the Indra and Ashura and Naruto and Sasuke of their universe, Blackbeard will probably say something to Luffy hey, Joy Boy and Davy Jones were Buccaneers. You're not a Buccaneer, so I am the one who should be carrying on the will of D, not you. Maybe something like that. But now that it's revealed that Davy Jones is a Buccaneer, maybe Joy Boy isn't. But like I also said, it's a possibility that Davy and Joy Boy are brothers, maybe. Anyway, we're also seeing Blackbeard's mother. That's kind of cool. We're actually seeing the face of the mother of an important character in this series. Shanks and Shamrock's mother asks Dragon to take care of her children's future. So here's the thing that I was mistaken about in my chapter review for 1159. Sorry. But first, this message is sponsored by Raycon. So it's back to school season, and while I'm not in school anymore, I still love that feeling of starting fresh. So this fall, I'm not calling it back to school, I'm calling it back to cool. Because Raycon's everyday earbud classics are making my routine that much simpler. They're packed with upgrades like active noise cancellation, multi-point connectivity so you can pair with 2 devices at once, up to 32 hours of battery life, a quick charge function, awareness mode, and a bunch of new cool colors. I mean, I love black, but they got something for everyone. You can also get these really cool cases that keep your Raycons safe and secure. And as most of you know, I've been using these Raycons for over 2 years now. And I don't have to use them. I choose to use them. I mean, that's why you get Raycon, guys. It's quality that rivals the big premium audio brands, but at half the price. I mean, quite literally. So guys, click the link in the description. Or go to buyraycon.com/Zhoniin to get 20% off site-wide. That's buyraycon.com/Zhoniin. Thanks. And it's funny because the spoilers from those chapters, last week with Pew and Redon specifically telling us, and me reading it verbatim, that Dragon had rescued Shanks and Shamrock from his mother, she giving them to him. But when I saw the chapter itself, I didn't get to see the best panels. This sounds like excuses. I messed up. There's no excuse. But it was really dark, and it looked like it was Blackbeard's mother because you see Blackbeard, little Blackbeard and his mom in the panel directly below Dragon walking up to Shanks' mom. Anyway, that was my justification. I was wrong. Dragon has Shanks and Shamrock here, and he's very likely going to save them from God Valley. I mean, that's how Shanks probably winds up in that treasure chest, and then there's obviously something that happens that allows Shamrock to wind up with Celestial Dragons. I guess Garling takes. Also, I said that Blackbeard was a prize in the God Valley, hunting game. He's not. He's just one of the rabbits in the game. The Celestial Dragons start the hunting game. Dragon shoots one celestial dragon to protect Kuma. All right, here we go. We were talking about this too. We were saying, wow, Dragon's Redemption Tour is coming, and I think it's here. Shooting a celestial dragon? I guess he shoots it with a tranquilizer. He's not going to shoot him with like a bullet. If he does, whoa, what a goat. Probably just a tranquilizer, because it was established in the previous chapter that he's using tranquilizers on the civilians and whatnot. So even still, shooting a celestial dragon with a tranquilizer dart is pretty big. I mean, yeah, he would instantly be executed on the spot, for doing that. So it is a big deal. But also him protecting Kuma is really funny, because it's just, I guess that's just how cool stories work. Just some things are just so wildly coincidental that they kind of just come together like that. And it does reflect reality too. I mean, something wildly coincidental happened to me the other day that seemed like, we're living in a simulation or something. So all of these things happening, I'm on board with it. Dragon saved Kuma. He saved Baby Shanks. Probably saved Blackbeard. Definitely knocked up Tritoma. But that's another flashback. The chapter has some redraws from chapter 1096. In Rock's Pirates, Roger Pirates, and Garp's arrival to God Valley. So that's totally understandable. We know that Oda has been workshopping God Valley and just Rocks in general, because when we first saw Rocks, what was it, like 6 years ago? I think it was 2019 when he was first revealed, right? It was when we were taking that little intermission from Wano and like focusing on the Reverie and the Warlord stuff. Rocks look wildly different than what he looks now. Also, Roger and everybody else kind of look like their old form, in the Sengoku mind description. But this is from 1096, and that was from, I think, 907 or 906 or something. So, yeah, still workshopping it even to this day. All the God Knights are introduced in this chapter. A new one is like a Yeti with horns. Can't really go too much into this because this is all we know about it. We're going to go way more into this in the full summary tomorrow. Right? Yeah, tomorrow if we get it from Read-On, of course. And then after that, if we get some panels and we're able to see what they look like, then we'll go even more into that Thursday or Friday. But this is cool. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the God Knights. I'm sure they all have some really interesting devil fruits, which is refreshing. We need that. We don't want this to just turn into big punch, big sword, lightning hockey manga. I mean, it can be that, but, let's have some cool devil fruit stuff too, But a Yeti with horns obviously makes us think of the Yeti Cool Brothers. Those two weird bounty hunter guys, whatever they were back in Punk Hazard. I always thought there was something, significant to them or something, because it's like, what are they? They're like giants and minks fused together or something? Or are they like their own unique race? And this might be, one of them, like a Yeti mixed with an ancient giant or something, since it has horns. So in the end, it all goes back to the Void Century. Like, once we see what had happened during that time, or even before that, we're going to see that there was tons of, like, all these different types of races. And then they all just, I guess, mingled together at some point, and we, wound up with what we have in the One Piece world today. The long arms and the long legs. And at the end of the chapter, Dragon saves Shamrocks and Shanks. Break next week. So, yeah, not the craziest, biggest chapter. I'm sure there's a lot more stuff that happens that they're not telling us yet. The God Valley incident has not happened yet, which is good. I like that Oda is actually taking his time with this, because he takes his time with everything else. So take your time with God Valley, which is clearly one of the most significant story points in the entire story. So Dragon saving Shamrock and Shanks here. We knew that it was going to happen. They're alive today, so no shocker there. But we still just have to find out what happens with Shanks going into the treasure chest, and then how Shamrock winds up with Garling. Now, other than that, we're, in the next 2 chapters, going to see the incident, which is like Roger and Garp teaming up to fight against Rocks to defend the Celestial Dragons. And that's not me putting out any propaganda. That is literally the propaganda that Sengoku put out there. Granted, Sengoku is not at the God Valley incident. He was not there. Or at least as far as we know. He could just randomly show up, but we're pretty sure he's not there. So how would he know? How would he know better than anyone else? I don't think Oda was trying to paint him as an unreliable narrator. I think he was more so trying to paint it as like the world government was fed this propaganda about rocks, because we know that he's not this evil, despicable guy. Yeah, he was trying to sit on the empty throne, but not to be like a weird, crazy, psychopathic ruler the way that Imu is. He more so just, I guess, wanted controlled chaos. Maybe not even controlled chaos. He kind of just wanted freedom via chaos in a way, right? And I guess Luffy wants freedom, but not chaos. Is that like the two competing D's thing here? And then, unfortunately, Rox is going to die. And, it sucks because he's the best character for sure, but we still have that hope that he's going to live on, because now that he is confirmed to be a Buccaneer, that means that he has the same soul thing that Kuma has, right? We were talking about that, how Kuma is implied to have imprinted his soul into the android version of himself. That's how he's able to, like, consciously live on and defend Bonnie. I mean, he's not, like, cogent or anything. He's barely lucid, but it's there. So the Buccaneers probably have some kind of soul imprintment ability. And Rox seems to have done this to teach. And if he is able to, like, trade personalities or whatever with him, and they take turns or whatever, and Davy Jones is in there too, that would be incredible. But if it's less fantastical than that, and it's kind of just like there's a fragment of his soul in there that's able to pass his will on, that'd be cool too. But man, if Rox's personality is still there, like the QB inside of Naruto, or Voldemort when he was on that turban guy in the first Harry Potter movie. Was that the first one or the second one? I don't remember, but you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, let me know what you think about all this. Blackbeard is a Buccaneer. Theory confirmed, baby. I'll actually link the video that I talked about that at the end of this one, if I remember, so you can check it out. It's actually a pretty fun video. I mean, the whole theory about him having the Base Devil Fruit was wrong, but everything else was kind of solid. But anyway, let me know, and subscribe, because we're going to be talking about the full summary tomorrow. See you guys.